decision. You're not just choosing actions, you're choosing timelines. You're tuning into realities based on the signal you broadcast. So if you're constantly in fear, shame, guilt, or not just feeling bad, you're magnetizing timelines that match those frequencies. And if you learn to raise that frequency, not fake it, but truly feel your way through, you begin to shift. You step into soul resonance and into alignment. This is how Earth works. It's not just a school. It's a field of resonance, a dream of matter. And you, beloved soul, are the dreamer within it. Pause, breathe, and tune in. What is your heart saying right now? This is the moment you shift. This is the portal of your next choice. Let it be love. What if I told you that the version of you listening to this is just one sliver of your total consciousness? What if every dream you've had, every strange deja vu, every phantom ache in your soul wasn't just imagination? What if it was memory? You are not a single threaded identity. You are a multidimensional being, a radiant soul moving across layers of time, experiencing life not in a line, but in a spiral. You exist across past, present, and future simultaneously. Most humans are trained to anchor into just one aspect of reality, the 3D timeline, the job, the name, the body, the narrative. But your soul is quantum. And that means there are versions of you waking up right now in another stream of possibility. This is what spiritual awakening begins to unlock. Access to the fractals of you. You feel pulled to a person you've never met because you have in another timeline. You resist the place for no logical reason because your soul remembers something your mind cannot. You weep for a life that never happened because it did, somewhere in the field. This is the ache of the fractured self. But here's the deeper teaching. These versions of you are not lost. They're waiting. They're waiting to be called home. You can retrieve the energy from the version of you who made a different choice. You can integrate the wisdom of the self who already passed through the fire and rose on the other side. This is timeline healing, soul integration, and quantum wholeness. And it begins with permission. You must give yourself permission to go beyond logic, to go beyond what makes sense, because soul work rarely makes sense in the linear world. It makes sense in the language of symbols, dreams, and energetic impressions. You are not broken. You are braided through lifetimes, braided through dimensions, and braided through choice. And when you begin to remember your fullness, when you meet the child self, the star self, the shadow self, and the higher self, you become the anchor of your own divinity. Your body becomes a temple where timelines converge. And in that temple, miracles happen. Past trauma no longer defines you. Future fears no longer bind you. Lost timelines no longer haunt you. They empower you. Because you are now the one holding the threads. You are the weaver of your soul tapestry. This is multi-dimensional mastery. And it doesn't mean having all the answers. It means remembering that you are the answer in every form, in every realm, across every breath of eternity. So today, Speak to your other selves. Tell them they are seen. Tell them they are loved. And tell them it is time to return. And then breathe as you step into the soul who remembers all of you. You were born with powers you've been taught to forget. Before you ever spoke a word, your soul knew how to see with inner vision, hear beyond sound, and feel energy in its rawest form. This is not fiction. It's not woohoo. It is your original design. Every child arrives with activated soul technology, clairvoyance, telepathy, intuitive resonance, somatic knowing. These are birthrights, not bonuses. You are encoded with tools to navigate Earth as a multidimensional being, but most of us are told early on, that's your imagination. That didn't really happen. Come on, be realistic. And so the shutting down begins. We learn to trade perception for programming, wander for rules, intuition for logic, but the body remembers. The soul never forgets, and one day something cracks you open. A loss, a dream, a synchronicity, a mysterious pull. And suddenly, you begin to remember again. How to feel energy moving in a room. How to sense truth without words. How to receive visions, numbers, and downloads in your dreams. This is your soul technology reactivating and coming online. But here's the real power move. Reactivation doesn't come from effort. It comes from undoing, from releasing the filters that cloud your natural state. You don't have to gain gifts. You have to stop resisting them. So ask yourself this. What do I already know that I pretend not to? What have I felt my whole life but silenced? What if I let my soul speak in its native language again? The language is vibrational. It shows up in symbols, colors, patterns, rhythms, and resonance. It's not always logical, but it is always true. Your soul speaks through goosebumps, chills, a sudden knowing, that quiet whisper that says, go now. And when you listen, you begin to trust. And when you trust, the path opens. This is not about becoming more spiritual. It's about becoming more you. You don't need 500 courses to remember who you are. You need stillness, curiosity, and the bravery to believe in the unseen. You are a walking oracle. Your body is sacred antenna tuned into the divine. So let it tune in. Feel the energy in your palms. Breathe into your third eye. Lay your hands on earth and remember. This is not the age of gurus. This is the age of soul remembrance. And your greatest technology is already inside of you. Most people live their whole lives inside a prison they cannot see. They wake up, go to work, follow rules, chase money, seek approval, fear rejection, and call it a normal life. But what if I told you this isn't real life? It's programming. There is an invisible architect on earth, a system designed not to empower your soul, but to distract it, to keep your consciousness confined within loops of fear, doubt, division, and dependency. It starts at birth. You're given a name, a nationality, a religion, a gender role, and a set of expectations. None of these are inherently bad, but they are limitations if you never question them. You're told what to believe, what to eat, what to wear, what success means, what failure looks like, and what's real and what's not. And behind the curtain of culture and convenience is the matrix. The Matrix isn't just a metaphor, it's an energetic grid of control. It operates through mainstream media, which is fear programming, school systems, which is obedience training, pharmaceuticals, which numb consciousness, technology addiction, which is fracturing attention, and financial systems, which is soul enslavement, and most dangerously, spiritual distortion. Even spirituality has been hijacked by the Matrix. You're told to chase high vibes, ignore your shadow, bypass real healing, and outsource your power to gurus and systems that sell awakening like a product. But awakening isn't a brand. It's a rebellion. A rebellion against forgetting who you are. The real soul path begins when you start to see the Matrix. Not with fear, but with clarity. You begin to decode the lies. You start to question the scripts. And the more you question, the more that veil lifts. You begin to see that time isn't linear, that your body is divine technology, that your thoughts are electromagnetic commands, that you were never meant to fit into a dying system. You were meant to rebuild from the inside out. This is why awakening is so painful. It's the death of identity that was programmed at birth. And when you step into remembrance, you begin to exit the hive. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to manipulation. You stop giving your energy to systems that feed off fear. You begin to build your own architecture, one based on soul truth, not social rules. You remember your multidimensional nature. You begin to co-create rather than consume. You start living from the inside out instead of the outside in. And then you realize this. The Matrix was never more powerful than your awareness. It only survives through your unconscious agreement. So withdraw your agreement. Reclaim your vision. Reclaim your voice. Reclaim your vibration. Because the soul was never meant to be enslaved. It was meant to create new worlds. Here we are, the final door, the final layer of illusion to dissolve, the final story to release, the final veil to lift before you stand fully in your light as a conscious creator on earth. If you've made it this far, it means you're no longer asleep, but awakening is not the end, it's the beginning. The truth is, you didn't just come here to heal. You came here to build. You came to help birth a new earth. Not a utopia born of fantasy, but a reality forged in conscious choice. A civilization rooted in soul values, truth, resonance, harmony, and sacred design. The final awakening isn't just about remembering your power. It's about embodying it. It's about becoming the architect of your inner world and then mirroring that mastery into the collective field. New Earth begins inside of you. And once you stop waiting for permission, once you stop asking the world to change for you, you begin to change the world through you. So what does this look like? It looks like choosing alignment over approval. It looks like creating from soul, not ego. It looks like trusting divine timing, even when your mind wants control. It looks like tending to the garden of your frequency every day, every breath, every decision. Because frequency is the foundation of form. You are the portal. You are the vessel. You are the transmission point between spirit and matter. And when you fully step into that role, you become a living code of remembrance for others. You don't need to wake people up. Your embodiment becomes the signal. Your peace becomes permission. Your presence becomes prophecy, and what used to feel like chaos becomes clarity. What used to feel like endings becomes initiations. What used to feel like fear becomes fuel. This is what it means to ascend while staying grounded. To live in the world, but no longer be of it. To weave spirit through form, time through stillness, self through source. And as you walk this path, you are never alone. Every soul who remembers becomes a light in the grid, and together we form a new architecture. One that doesn't imprison the soul, but honors it. One that doesn't feed on fear, but nourishes evolution. One where Earth is no longer a place of exile, but a sanctuary of sacred embodiment. So I leave you with this. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are a soul midwifing a new timeline for humanity. And you don't have to know the entire map to take the next step. You just have to remember what you've always known. You are the dreamer. You are the matter. You are the divine made manifest. Now, create. Now that you've awakened, what do? You've seen the illusion. You've remembered your essence. But Earth is still a wild, complex realm filled with contrast, density, and emotional gravity. The goal is no longer escape, it's mastery. Earth is not a punishment, it is a classroom. And you, soul traveler, are here to graduate. So how do you navigate it consciously? Let's decode the soul map. Ground the light in the body. This means ascension does not mean leaving the body. It means bringing source into the body. To ascend, you must descend into your form fully. Eat clean, breathe deeply, move with intention, and sleep when the body asks. This is sacred maintenance. You need to anchor your frequency daily. Your vibration determines your experience. Set your tone each morning with breath work, meditation, intention setting, speaking light codes or affirmations aloud. You are a tuning fork. Calibrate. Use the mirror of reality. Everything you attract is feedback, not punishment. Use the formula. Trigger equals opportunity. Pain equals portal. Frustration equals soul redirect. Ask, what is this showing me about my alignment right now? You need to heal the emotional body. Unprocessed pain clouds your channel. Practice shadow work and emotional release rituals. Don't bypass, don't suppress. Transmute this. You need to reconnect with nature and the grid. Earth is conscious. Trees, rivers, stars, and storms are speaking to you. Reground in natural frequencies by walking barefoot, stargazing, or placing your hand on a tree. Receive Gaia's codes. This one's important. Study your natal chart and timeline. Astrology is your soul's instruction manual. It is your map. It is your soul's blueprint for this incarnation. Your rising sign shows your Earth interface. Your North Node reveals your evolutionary direction. Saturn will reveal your lessons. Track transits and align with cosmic rhythms. You were written in the stars. You need to reclaim your mind. Your thoughts are commands. Speak only what you want to create. Detach from fear cycles and reopen with mantras. I create through love. My timeline is sovereign. I remember who I am. You need to build rituals of power. Make the sacred part of your day Light a candle with intention. Charge your water with words before you drink it. Pull a daily card for guidance. Sit in silence and commune with your higher self. You need to find your soul family. You're not meant to do this alone. Seek resonance, not popularity. Your true tribe feels like remembering, not performance. You need to embody in service. Your soul expands through contribution. Share your voice, your art, your healing, your presence. Service isn't sacrifice, it's expansion. And finally, you need to trust the path unfolding. Ascension is not a race. It's not linear. It spirals, it pauses, it contracts before it expands. The goal is not perfection, it's presence. There will be days when you forget everything, and that's okay. The light is not lost. It's just resting beneath the surface, waiting for your return. Earth is a maze, but you carry the compass. You already hold the map. You are the guide you've been seeking. Now walk your path, not with fear, but with knowing. The knowing that you were never lost, only remembering. What's the one thing every soul must face before fully entering 5D consciousness? Not light, not bliss, it's not perfection, but radical self-honesty. You cannot fake your way into the fifth dimension. It is not a frequency you can imitate. It is a vibration that only truth can access. And the final doorway before anchoring higher consciousness is this. Can you see yourself clearly and still love what you see? Most people don't realize that 5D isn't just about high vibes. It's about authentic alignment. Authenticity is the highest frequency that you can attain. You must be willing to face the parts of you still fear, the ego games you still play, the attachments you still cling to, the versions of you that have expired but you're afraid to let die. This is not about judgment. It's about reconciliation. Radical self-honesty asks, where am I lying to myself? What am I pretending not to know? What am I avoiding feeling? What truth would set me free if I were brave enough to admit it? 5D is not a place, it's a frequency, and that frequency cannot hold distortion. So before you rise, you will be asked to clear the debris. You will be asked to speak the truth you've hidden, to leave the relationships that drain you, to stop performing, to stop overgiving, and to stop explaining your soul to those who refuse to see it. 5D doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be honest and authentic. When you tell yourself the truth, your field becomes coherent. And in a coherent field, your manifestations become immediate. Because the universe responds to who you really are, not who you pretend to be. You don't have to be enlightened, but you do have to be real. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do have to stop lying to yourself. So if you want to cross the final veil into sustained 5D awareness, speak the truth, feel what's real, admit what hurts, and reclaim what you've always abandoned. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the doorway to light. And only when you stop hiding from yourself do you become free. Trust me, I know. Because the real ascension is radical remembrance of the whole self, light and shadow, with nothing left to prove, nothing left to protect, and nothing left to perform. You just are. And that is the vibration that births the new earth.